Hello everybody and welcome back to a little bit more WoW when it decides it wants to load. There we go, every time. Today we're just going to be running through the good old gold farming route for one last time, because either tomorrow or Wednesday I think for EU. Pre-patch is hitting us hard, and all these beautiful gold farming things we've been doing for like the past couple months are going to be squished into the ground, so have to figure out some new places to go to make gold. I figured we'd just run it one last time for old time's sake, pretty much. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be a pretty fun stream. I am a little bit under the weather again. I think I've got a cold. I'm hoping it's a cold. So, might not be like super talkative, or I might sound a bit nasally. Or I might trip over words more, because that's something I tend to do when I'm a little bit under the weather. For some reason. But anyway, I moved everybody into a position like an hour ago before the stream. Decided to, for some reason, do some more leveling on my other hunter. I'm not sure why. I think I was just kind of in the mood to play some WoW. And decided to also try and do some more leatherworking on him before that got removed as well. Which I didn't realise before now. I went to Vol'dun or whatever, and because he's not 120, I was expecting all the mobs there to scale down to his level. They don't. They're still all 120, and he's like level 116 or whatever, so everything has like 50,000 more health than him, and like does extra damage and stuff. It was really weird. I guess they kind of only expect you to go back to those places once you've finished the war campaign, which seems odd. Like, I don't know if that's just a bug or something I've just never noticed before. I don't know, it was weird. But I was playing a hunter, so it wasn't exactly a problem. You just send your pet into their death and then you just kill everything anyway. I was thinking maybe I shouldn't run Mogasham Palace, but actually the reset is going to happen the same day as pre-patch, right? So it doesn't matter. But I do need to remember to fly my character over to the dragon vendor guys, whatever they're called. I don't remember. I know I've got Exalted with their reputation, but I've no idea what their name is. I've stopped paying attention to them the minute I reached Exalted with them, like a couple months ago. Where are they? Oh, Order of the Cloud Serpent, those boys. We get the pet again? Are we gonna do this? Like the fucking 20th time. Every time we run this, we get every single pet drop. Well, almost every pet drop. Usually we miss like one, but there's a lot of pets in Pandaria. Oh, that's the one we usually miss, I guess, because we only got 1 out of 3 of them. Oh no. The reason we only have 1 out of 3 of those is because I've been selling those in the auction house for like 1,000 gold each. I don't know why they sell for so much gold, but they do. They're not exactly hard to get, you just fight a dragon that you can kill in like 10 seconds. Seems odd. Can I actually kill him by using the crows, because they stick to him? No, the crows do no damage through the bubble. Oh, that's irritating. But yeah, I did also mention, I can't remember if it was last stream or a stream before that, about potentially streaming the rest of my Divinity playthrough. I decided not to do that because I realized where I'd got up to in the game was like halfway through the storyline, and from like a series perspective, that felt real bad because it meant I'd have had to have researched all the stuff I didn't remember, because that playthrough I started in 2017, and try and figure that out and then explain it to the audience, which doesn't sound like a great plan. And then also, it would have been halfway through and all the character development, all the experiences, all the adventures and stuff would be completely missed out. So I figured it'd just be easier to finish that myself. I finished that in like 3 days. But the problem with Divinity is I get really carried away when I start playing it. I ended up staying up until like 3 in the morning, 2 days in a row just playing Divinity. And just smashed it all out. And it was really fun though. Like, I'm now trying to find other games that are like Divinity to play. And so far I've not actually been able to find anything that is, like, captures that same thing in the exact same way. Wait, why oh, that's just the way back in, I guess. Why am I moving slower on the mount? It's like the mount is slowed down? It is, I think. But yeah, with the Divinity thing, there are other, like, I think they're called CRPGs, like the classical style or whatever. There are other games that do that same thing and have the turn-based combat and that thing of having to actually, like, read quest text and stuff like you do in classic WoW and things. But the thing really captures it in exactly the same way, and I think that's just kind of a trait of the industry in general, because every thing has to have its own thing and stand out in a specific way. But it's kind of the same thing I have with Dark Souls, in that I love Dark Souls, like Dark Souls 1 and 3, 2 a little bit less so, but still good mostly. But no other like Souls-like captures that gameplay in exactly the same way. Because everyone wants to make their thing stand out and be different from everyone else's and have their own twist on the same, like, genre and idea. I've played a lot of Souls-likes, and I don't really like any of them to the same degree. Like, even Bloodborne, which I know loads of people love Bloodborne. I just really dislike the healing system in Bloodborne. I feel like it really heavily breaks the gameplay loop. Like, the basic thing in Dark Souls of you have 5 Estus Flasks, and you can buff that as you play through, obviously, but you start out with 5, and you have those 5 every time you fight a boss. And the gameplay loop in Dark Souls of you go and fight the boss, you die, but you learn something, right? And then you fight it again, and you learn more and more until eventually you can overcome the fight, and it can take 1 fight, it can take 10, it can take 100, right? It's all about learning the movesets and the systems and how the boss functions and the arena around you and how you can exploit those things or figuring out weaknesses and things. But because the healing system works in the way it does, that you get those 5 and you can keep getting more and more every time. And if you want, you can invest in having more by putting like humanity into the bonfire and stuff. You always have those like fixed amount of heals. Means that you can fight that boss as many times as you need to in order to learn the boss. And that's the thing that I like about Dark Souls, is the fact that it is this... It's almost like solving a puzzle, and you have as many attempts as you want to figure that puzzle out in order to beat it. Whereas in like Bloodborne, because you have a limited amount of heals, and you have to farm out those heals every time you want to fight the boss again, unless you like farm for ages and stockpile healing items, and then go and fight bosses. I find that that really breaks the loop. The only thing I kind of like about the Bloodborne healing system is the, when you're fighting enemies you can, like, hit them. If you hit them quick enough you can heal back by, like, their blood or whatever. Which is a cool system, but, again, the actual healing vials, like the blood vial things, and you having to go and grind those out every time you want to fight a boss just isn't enjoyable to me. And sure, if you're like super good at the game and whatever, the whole get good thing, and you don't need to keep going and farming out healing vials, like, good for you. But when it was my first time playing the game and I refused to look anything up because I wanted to go in blind like I did with Dark Souls, and actually learn things, because that's the thing I really liked about the game, you're kind of just throwing yourself in at the deep end by doing that. And in Bloodborne I don't think it works, because you just have to keep breaking that loop to go and get more healing items and fight the same enemies over and over again. I just didn't like it. And Demon's Souls does the same thing. I've not played Demon's Souls, I've only watched people play it because I've never owned a PS3, so I didn't get to play the original, and I probably won't buy a PS5, so I won't get to play the remaster either. But of watching people play that, it's the same thing. You get healing herbs, I think it is in that, and you get those herbs by fighting enemies or you buy them from vendors. Same as the blood vials. And you have to do that, you have to do that every time you want to go and fight a boss, or every time you want to stockpile something to go and do like the next leg of the adventure or whatever, and it really breaks the loop in those games, and I'm not a fan of it. I can't remember what the healing system was like in, actually can't remember the name of the game. I know my friend Ryan's like a massive fan of it. It's the other Souls-like one that's like set in Japan or whatever. Like you're an English dude is the storyline, and you like start out in the Tower of London or whatever is the tutorial. And then you escape to Japan and there's like a mystery resource or whatever. Like the story seems kind of interesting, not gonna lie, but I could just never get into the gameplay loop of that, and I can't remember how the healing worked in that at all. We're circling back around to the Divinity rant part of that whole thing. So far I haven't been able to find another RPG that has that same sort of satisfying combat as Divinity. I was looking at the Pathfinder game, because that has a similar combat system, and it is that sort of, it's the same thing, because Pathfinder I think is like an offshoot of D&D, I could be wrong. But that's kind of what Divinity is, it's kind of knockoff D&D. And I like that style. That's why I've also been looking at Baldur's Gate, the new one, which is made by the same guys as Divinity, so they're very similar looking. But even the combat in that looks kind of lesser than the Divinity one, because it's more that kind of D&D style. Some of the things look really cool, like some of the Warlock abilities look really impactful visually. I'm not sure how impactful they are actually in terms of like gameplay, stats and like damage and stuff, but they look really cool. Sorry, I was just sawing something to my side. Yeah, the visuals of that look really impactful, but also Baldur's Gate is like 50 or 60 quid or whatever right now, which is a lot of money for something that isn't finished. And I'm not saying that in like a nasty way at all, because the developers, Larian, are really fucking good, and they've already updated that game a whole bunch. It's just if I am like buying into a game like that, like Divinity, I kind of want to have a full experience to play through. Like my full playthrough of Divinity 2 was like 60 hours or something like that. And then I started a playthrough with Kyle a bit back, playing it in multiplayer on the Definitive Edition, because my original playthrough is in the classic one, because it's from 2017. But yeah, we started playing that, and that was like 40 hours in or whatever. So like the game is super long. And I'm gonna guess that what is there of Baldur's Gate is already a lot, because Larian tend to deliver a lot. It's awesome. But it still feels like a lot of money for, I think it's just like Act 1, which if Divinity is anything to go by, it's still a good chunk. It's just not a finished thing, I guess. And I'm guessing it's going to be 50 quid all the way through, like, till finished. They're not going to hike the price up, like most early access titles. But again, it still seems like a lot for now. Just, like, in the position I'm in, money-wise and stuff, it's a lot to spend on something that isn't finished. I'm trying to cut down, like, my costs in everything to make sure I've got enough money, basically. But the Pathfinder game is like 15 quid or something. But the combat in that looks kind of even more, I don't want to say basic. It's just not as flashy or as impactful as like the Divinity style. My voice is going to be all over the place. Oh, my inventory's full. Shit. Can I summon the... I can't. Okay, that's not good. What have we got we can throw away that's worth nothing here? Sure. Let's just get rid of the fish scales. Oh, in fact, why don't I just get rid of all these? I have to write delete out every time. Can I copy and paste this? Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, the combat just looks, I don't know, less impactful, I guess, in Pathfinder. It looks very much like you're just like shooting arrows at people or hitting them with a sword or whatever. It's not the, It's like if you look at WoW abilities and stuff, like your auto attack is real basic. It's just firing a bow or hitting someone with a sword or an axe or a staff, whatever, right? But then your like abilities are big, kind of more impactful things, like Whirlwind on a warrior, right? That's also an ability in Divinity that looks really cool, where you like just spin around, a giant whirlwind of energy or whatever around you. Whereas it looks like a lot of the Pathfinder, and to a degree some of the Baldur's Gate sort of combat looks very simplistic in comparison. Which makes sense, to be fair. I guess it's more of like a realism thing. Also, I just noticed the map, there's a, like, all of this is just giant purple boxes, like, what did they do? Like, I'm pretty sure the edge of this isn't just giant purple boxes, because it's got textures on it. Yeah, something's wrong with this. I've never noticed that before, to be honest. Anyway, let's get out of here and render some stuff. I didn't realize how much crap we'd picked up, like, already. That was pretty quick. But yeah, I'm actually looking at just doing a modded playthrough of Divinity at this point. Because I got a, I put together like a whole mod pack of stuff myself now, of just different stuff on the Steam Workshop, and then like the odd mod from the Nexus and stuff to like re-enable achievements and things. Oh, and the script extender. I know a lot of people, like going back to my doing Fallout 4 video days, a lot of people really dislike modding. Like they see modding as this way of cheating and making the game easier, or just kind of making the game less of an experience, which I have to say, for the most part, I disagree with. There are mods and stuff that just make the game easier. There are always going to be those people that want to cheat. Not necessarily cheat the game, but have that almost like power fantasy, or just completely destroy something, or like, you know, just like one-off little things you just run around and break the game or whatever, right? I mean, I've done that shit in Skyrim. I'm sure everyone has that modded that game at some point. But a lot of the time, especially with like Divinity and stuff, it just adds more to the game. Like the amount of mods I've got now, like 40-something mods, and most of them just add new classes, or rebalance old classes, or add new mechanics and stuff. Like, one of them, I can't remember the name of it, adds a like a rogue combo system, kind of like in Hearthstone, right? So the more you use your rogue abilities, the more you build up combo, and then you can expend all of your combo in one like big flurry attack. Like an entirely new mechanic that a mod adds to the game that makes rogue extra impactful. And it's this really cool, unique little thing you can do, and then also it adds like Fire Mage and WoW, that like Scorch mechanic, so the more you build up your fire, the more damage your fire does and stuff. Like, so many cool mods that just add new systems or rebalance old things. And why is my attack targeting this corpse over here? That was an odd bug. On a bug, funnily enough. But yeah. It just adds so much more depth and so many more abilities and things to the game. Like, I'm genuinely looking forward to having a modded playthrough and just trying out all the new stuff. And also all the extra like customization options that it adds as well from another mod. I think I've got a couple that add like new appearances and things in the character creator. And there's one that allows you to change your like origin story. So if you make a custom character, you're like locked to having a specific ability. Whereas with that, you can change it and you can take the origin abilities from the other like pre-written characters like Sabille and Fane and stuff. Which, if you're role-playing the game or whatever, you can create a more unique character for yourself that has more unique and original abilities that you could then just not take the person who has that ability, so that you stand out more from the rest of your party and things. Also, you could use the origin book on them and change their origin thing, so it's still like unique to you or whatever, right? Of course, you could also use that to power game the system and like give yourself the best abilities, of course, but that is your choice to do so, not necessarily the mod making the game easier. That's your choice to make the game easier. Yeah. I just really like mods in games, especially when the like developers endorse them or like aid in their creation in some way, like Bethesda. No, Bethesda's done some dodgy shit with modding too over the years, but for the most part, they've been super supportive of like the community adding stuff to it. It's why Skyrim is still played by like thousands of people even now. Like, what, 10 years after its launch or whatever? 9? I guess. It was 2011, wasn't it? So yeah, 9 years. Yeah, the modding communities just keep games alive. It's the same with like Left 4 Dead. Like the recent update to Left 4 Dead is just community created stuff that Valve have like endorsed and added to the game now. Which is awesome. And Larian kind of did the same thing with Divinity. They just let people run wild and create whatever the hell they want. And it means that, you know, my next playthrough of Divinity will be completely different from the first playthrough, because there's a whole bunch of new classes, and even the enemies use the new classes and balancing things as well. So all the new abilities and mechanics and stuff I have access to, so do all the enemies. So it's not just like me becoming more powerful. The enemies are also becoming stronger to match my like new power level. Where are we? Temple... No, Terrace of Endless Spring. There we go. The modded playthrough I have I've started a few just to try out different like classes and combinations and things I was thinking about trying. I got a mod that lets me skip like the tutorial, so I don't have to play through the ship section every time. But I'm kind of leaning towards the idea of doing like a villain playthrough, because I did sort of more heroic stuff in my original playthrough and chose like all the good options and stuff. Because you can you like play through your companion's storylines and stuff, basically. And I think I had Sabile, Beast, and Fane were my like original team. And chose like the good options for Beast and Sabile, because I don't think you actually get to choose Fane's storyline stuff unless you play as him. Like, you can interact with it, but I never got an achievement for like finishing it or whatever. I think it's because you need to play as him, because he gets like unique endings apparently as well, from what I've read. Which is cool. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing like an undead rogue, which is really stereotypical, but with all the different like class mods and stuff, it adds in like extra bits and pieces. And because undead in the Divinity universe can like take on the appearance of humans and like fake being different races and stuff. Kind of had the idea of doing like an undead rogue and then mixing in like the... I think one of the classes like succubus and stuff. Doing like an evil seductress rogue type sort of character would be kind of fun. I think I chose Undead Elf as my like base for this one that I've started. I don't know if it's one I'll stick with or if I make a new one. But then you also get the elf ability to eat bodies and learn things from them. Which is super cool. I love that about the Divinity characters. Like, every race has their own like unique little thing they can do. I also really like the fact that undead can take on the other races' things as well. Well, Fane can. I guess you probably can if you take the shape-shifting helmet or whatever from Fane. Like specific, like special mask that lets him take on the face of like every race, and it gives them their abilities and stuff. So you can be an elf and get their like their natural ability is flesh sacrifice, I think. So you get an extra movement point, like extra action point per turn when you use it anyway. Or you can go to Blizzard and get like fire breath or whatever. I also saw a really cool mod for that where you could get adaptive lizards, so your you can change your fire breath to suit your like playstyle. So if you're a necromancer, you can get like a blood breath instead and like cover the area in blood, and then you can use the necromancy has like a heavy lean on healing through blood and all the rest of that stuff. You can sort of carpet the area in blood and then heal up. And just keep fighting. I'm not sure why I did it, but I did read through the Steam reviews for Divinity at one point and saw someone complaining about the fact that melee classes are useless next to the mage stuff. Which I completely disagree with after my first playthrough, because I played, an Inquisitor, I think it is, which are, like, they use melee and necromancy. If you combine those two together, you are basically unstoppable from the beginning of the game to the end, because you use all the melee stuff, which when you buff up your strength becomes super impactful and does way more damage than the magic stuff in some circumstances. And then you also combine that with the necromancy thing, which lets you heal from doing damage, and also if you get the leech ability so you heal from blood on the floor. You just beat the crap out of everybody, get blood everywhere, continuously heal every time you hit somebody, and you're dealing a crap load of melee damage. I don't understand how melee classes aren't good, because they hit real hard, and they're basically invincible if you combine things correctly. I get the impression that that guy didn't understand how to play the game, because melee classes really aren't bad at all, especially not fucking rogue as well. Like, the scoundrel stuff is even better than like the regular melee things. Like, if you set up a rogue correctly, it's insane. Like, I had Sabile, I think I mentioned it as my rogue in my main playthrough. She could just teleport behind guys and one-shot them in a single turn. Like, you use backstab, I think it is, or backstep, something like that. You teleport behind enemies, stab them in the back for a free backstab for like 1 action point. Regular action backstabs cost 2. And then you can, you know, you do that for the 1 action point, backstab them. Then you backstab them again for 2, then you use Adrenaline to give yourself 2 more points back, backstab them again, then you use Flesh Sacrifice, backstab them for a final time. And if that doesn't kill them, then you just tap them in the back with your head, like your main melee guy, and then they're dead. Like, rogues are genuinely fucking insane in Divinity. Like, I don't get how melee classes are supposed to be bad, because they definitely ain't. I think the other thing he was complaining about was co-op, which I do kind of get the point he was saying on that, where if you split up and go in 2 separate directions, it's very easy to get lost and stuff. Yeah, it's super easy to get lost if you like split up and go in separate directions and you're both like talking to different NPCs and learning different things, because it's that, as I mentioned, like classic WoW style thing where you actually have to read the quest text and pay attention to what people are saying. Yeah, in co-op I can see how it's an issue, but I feel like you can get around the whole that whole issue in co-op. Like, when I was playing it with Kyle in co-op, we'd just tell each other what the NPCs were saying, and then we weren't missing out on anything. Like, as long as you communicate with the other person you're playing co-op with, which is kind of a basic point of co-op, considering it stands for cooperation. That also completely negates the issue of, like, you not being present. Just talk to each other. Like, I don't get how that's difficult. But I guess that is for some people. I'm so sorry if I'm, like, sometimes just walking into a wall not saying anything. I was just chatting to a Drac in game at the same time. Also, I should sell stuff before we leave. And I will reply to him again in a second. I think I've still got like Onyxia stuff in my bags. I've got the satchel and the bag of gems. But yeah, we will, actually, we are gonna go to... In fact, have I got a flight path from here? Because I really need to go and take a break. I'm pretty sure there's a flight path over at Harfear, isn't there? There's one close enough. I'll go there, I guess. You're not the flight master. Oh, that'll do. I will be back in 2 seconds.
How fortunate. How fortunate. How fortunate. How fortunate. How fortunate. How fortunate.
Hello. I don't like how thingy turns. Sorry, that makes no sense. How LVUI turns like emojis into faces sometimes.
How fortunate.
Because it seems to just make every face into the same face, if that makes sense. Like, when you're writing a smiley face or whatever, right? It's different to do the like the XD face or the fucking. I don't think I've ever typed it, but like the triangle, fucking what? Colon 3, that one. Or like the cutesy cat face thing or whatever, right? Like, they're all completely different emoticons. But LVY just makes them into the same face, seemingly. Like, they're all the same. I haven't been able to tell the difference between any of them. So I can't tell what somebody is reacting to something with, because it all just looks like the same face. I don't know. It's real odd.
Ours is but to serve in her divine name. Never to question nor to contemplate. We simply
We've done really good on, like, running through all this stuff. It's a shame that this route is probably going to be completely defunct in Shadowlands in, like, 2 days, but still.
her happy the chaff of the world tumbles across our doorstep, driven by fear.
I feel like enough people saw my my routes and stuff to know what was good in BFA, hopefully, for like the last few months. And I've said before, I got most of my information from watching Archfolder and Hazel, I think it was. Or Kraken, probably. Yeah, I'm just talking to Drek about the pre-patch and stuff, and being excited about the new Hunter stuff, and also the fact that I need to put a leveling list together. Leveling list, there we go. English. Said I was ill, okay. My excuse for my brain not working. Yeah, I probably should put together a leveling list and figure out what I want to level first, because I've still got the rest of my hunters to get through, my mage needs finishing up, my monk. I definitely want to play through a bunch of the expansions I missed over the years. Like, I feel like I really missed out by never getting to actually play through Lich King properly from, like, beginning to end. Because right now in the game, even when I tried to go and play Lich King as, like, my main thing I wanted to do on leveling my, like, warrior or something, I got to play, like, one zone before I was finished and ended up having to go to, like, Pandaria. And then I made the horrible decision on my mage to decide to go to Cataclysm instead, because I wanted something different, and, yeah, Cataclysm leveling, that's kind of all over the place. There's some pretty cool ideas, like the underwater zone. But it just seems very sort of all over the place and a little bit inconsistent. Which sucks a little bit. How much gold have I actually made so far? Made this session 4,000. Yikes, what? What? 4,000? Those are real low numbers. I've only got one more raid to do. We're usually hitting between 8,000 and 10,000, with Blizzard already nerfed my gold. Been making too much, apparently. I kind of hate the fact that Blizzard are nerfing the gold from some of these things. I know why they're doing it, because obviously it's super exploitable right now, and if people just ground this out all the time, they'd be making so much gold that it would, you know, not help the economy and stuff, but when they keep adding in mounts and things that are like 5 million gold, a third of a million gold, like every expansion, new people coming in can't afford that, and chances are never will during that expansion. Like, it's real dumb. I mean, if you did this gold farming route that I've been doing for all of BFA, if you did this for, what, a year, on just one character, every week it's, what, 10,000 gold on average. So, say, 3 weeks a month. I know it's higher sometimes. What, it's like 52? Gonna make 500,000 in... Is it 52 weeks in a year? Then you're gonna make, like, what? 500,000 in a year. So a mount that's 5 million gold is still completely inaccessible. Seems like the only way to actually make the money you are like required in order to be able to afford those overpriced mounts is to do that like dumb thing where you sit in Stormwind and sell boosts. Which I find to be one of the most irritating things of going back to the major cities. It's just your chat log filling up with people spamming just fucking nonsense, basically. You have to decipher the... I can't remember what they're called now. My brain really is fried, isn't it? You have to, like, decipher what analogies and shit they're using, whatever. Figure out what raid they're talking about, what boss they're fighting, what mount they're trying to get you to get, and all the rest of it. And then how much they're actually charging for it, because sometimes that isn't clear either. It's just... I really hate the, like, boost selling thing, because every time you go to a major city, it's just nonsense in chat. And then I guess your other alternative is, you multi-box, and, that's also real dumb. Yeah, not a particular fan of the multi-boxing thing. It's a little bit better than botting, I guess, but not by much. It still, like, makes everything harder for everyone else. The reason Blizzard has to keep increasing the, like, well, decreasing the price of gold and all the expansions is to stop people from farming them with multi-boxes and bots. Which, to be fair, it's hard to farm old expansion stuff with multi-boxes, I guess, because you'd have to run them all individually. But if you have them all synced up and in there at the same time, actually, I don't think that would be that hard to do, would it? Because as long as you have them all following the same key presses, which is the way the multi-boxes function anyway, right? You basically have your keyboard input spread across however many instances of WoW that you're using at the same time. So when you press 1 on your main, it presses 1 on all of your, like, other party members. Oh yeah, we have to manually walk all the way back out of here. Beautiful. Yeah, as long as that was all synced up across all of your, like, instances of WoW, you could just run instances however many times you wanted to. With all of your multi-boxes. I feel like that's the major reason for, like, lowering the gold on stuff, is to stop people just spamming the hell out of it. Because like I say, even if you did this, like, once a week, across 2 characters would be 1,000,000 gold in a year. Which, by multi-boxing numbers, is nothing, because you could just run all of your multi-boxes at the same time. And have that number in, what, like a 10th of the time? Like a month and a half? For the same money? Probably even less if you do more efficient farms, too. At this point, I'm kind of just trying to make an adequate amount of gold on the character. Rather than striving for those super expensive mounts, because A, it's insane, and the, like, time and effort you have to put in order to reach those now is stupid. It's also, I don't think even... Well, it's definitely not now, but even like a couple months ago, I don't think it was actually possible to make the money you needed to buy the Brutosaur without having like 1,000,000 alts all farming stuff at the same time. Like for a regular person who has other stuff to do and all the rest of it, like it just wasn't possible. And the thing is, I don't think it actually really takes much money out of the economy. Because the people who have enough money to just buy the Brutosaur without putting any thought into it have already got that much money that it doesn't matter. And it means however much money they earn over the course of an expansion across all of their characters will just continue to add towards that. And then they've also got all the auction house stuff and everything else. Like, the people who have enough money to buy that Brutosaur probably don't care. It's the people who spent like the whole expansion farming gold to buy the Brutosaur that are the people who probably won't have a whole lot of money going into Shadowlands. I just don't really feel like they do much to actually negate the insane amount of gold that some people have already. If they really wanted to get the stupid amount of gold out of the WoW economy or whatever, they should just start putting fucking taxes in the game. And just make the people who have stupid amounts of gold have to pay way more tax than everyone else. But, you know, do it across their entire account rather than just character specifically, because otherwise they would just spread their gold out. So they didn't have to pay as much, you know, like people do in the real world. Which is a really dumb and boring system, but it would actually solve the economy issue. It's also the only way that's actually going to get fixed, because just making a mount stupidly expensive isn't going to do anything. Something I haven't done lately is actually look at, can I not? Oh, okay, it's the banner being at the top of it. With, oh, polished pet charms. Something I haven't done lately is actually look at the Avengers game, see if they've actually updated anything or added anything to it. Last time I checked, they still hadn't given me all the points that they never gave me for completing the challenges as Iron Man, so I think at that point I just stopped opening the game, because it was just like, they're not going to give me the stuff I've earned, so what's the point in playing? It's kind of the same way I felt about keep playing Necromunda when the issues were still in the game. They fixed them all now, which is really cool. I just haven't been back to play it since, but when there was the fact that your character save could just get deleted overnight and you'd lose all of your progress, made it feel not worth the time investment. I think it's where I struggle with a lot of this sort of long-winded roguelike type games, where your character can die at any point. Because you're putting in all that time investment, and then if your character dies, you just lose all your shit, or it all drops on the ground and other people just take it, and it's like, well, what was the point in all the effort and time I put in, because none of it matters anymore, because all of it's gone. I actually think I should get rid of my rep meters at the top. I need to move that DPS meter as well. I'm still playing around with my UI. I want to rearrange stuff a little bit more, I think. In fact, I could put the DPS meter on the left-hand side, and then I've got one on the right and one on the left. Or I could move all the things, because the party thing goes on the left, doesn't it, actually? To be fair, all the things probably won't be super useful until, like, the end of the first, like, set of Shadowlands content, which I'm not sure how much content there's going to be when Shadowlands launches or anything else. But I could probably just move all the things, or, like, you know, minimize it or whatever. It'd be nice if there was more customization options for all the things as well, actually.
The large Wyland seem to be guarding that door. Tread carefully.
Did I vendor stuff? Probably not. Nope. Okay, we're gonna kill the first boss and run back out and sell everything. That's the plan. We've definitely got enough space to keep all the stuff from the first boss, so. Nice.
That was close. The door mechanism seems to have
Okay, cool. I was wondering if the door was going to go back down again behind me.
fear what we may find with
Little Cho in two places at once, as always. What a guy. I'm pretty sure there's like 4 or 5 different instances of him in just this one dungeon. Beautiful. I actually haven't seen... Well, actually I think I have seen a couple players around, but not many. I guess everyone is kind of just waiting now for pre-patch. Which is understandable. I just want to squeeze out the last little bit of gold I can from this route before it's gone. Jesus, I get so many cloth items. Are these like all duplicates of each other? Yes. I mean, those have got different names, so maybe they're different? Okay. A lot of crap. Oh, there we go. That was another player. Flew past me. Cool. Back in we go. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave Boris outside of this dungeon when we finish up here, which is why I did this one last rather than second like I normally do. We've got every drop from this first dungeon. No, we have. Got every drop from the first boss. Got everything from Fang to... is it Fang or Fang? Fang. Got everything from Garagel.
We seem to have awakened a spirit of some kind.
Got everything from Elegon as well now. Just not got the achievement. Oh, I'm still missing the hands from the last guy.
The stories were true.
To be fair, I haven't been doing the last guy most of the time. I just skip him because
Been disturbed.
I only went as far as where the mount dropped. But I guess we can do the last boss this time.
Destroy him.
See if we can get the last piece of gear we're missing from this dungeon. We're up to 6,000 now. We went up 1,500 just from
His body destroyed
Heart of Fear.
only to rise again. This is not the last we have seen. The Toad Beneath was
Oh nice, we've got everybody that time.
ancient allies of the Mogul. They must keep the legendary weapon within the depths of the vaults. I'm sorry I did not tell you earlier. These vaults house a weapon of unimaginable power. Stop them. I will stay behind and investigate this case further.
I was actually kind of worried about leaving my character. Actually, no, I need to send him over to the Celestial guys, don't I? Not outside of this dungeon.
Time to play.
Yeah, I think it was this morning. I opened Twitter to a Wowhead post about apparently Pandaria being broken on the PTR. That was a lot of P's in that sentence. But yeah, I think it was Ian who replied directly to the post being like, it's fixed, it's just not on the PTR yet. Like, immediately. It's like, oh, okay, cool. It was slightly worrying finding out the Pandaria was broken for a little bit there. Like, the place I want to go first before anything else on the pre-patch. I'm really hoping the ghouls can't get to Pandaria easily, because I kind of just want to get in, tame my dragon, and then not have to worry about the event. If they're doing... I'm still unsure which way around they're actually doing the pre-patch event. I'm very confused about it. Because I get that they're doing it in 2 parts, but I'm confused which way round they're doing the 2 parts. Because it would make sense to me if they're doing it in 2 parts, to do the first part as, here's all the Shadowlands changes, go play with them, figure out what's going on, and then do the second part as the actual Scourge event. But I think they're doing it the other way round, which, I don't know. I don't. I'm just gonna play it and find out like everyone else, I think, and I've given up trying to look things up at this point.
Ruled his vassals with an iron fist.
I stopped looking at
I've heard
the changes and things when I saw them making changes to water rather than
tales of
anything important.
he stole from the rich and kept everything up to date.
That was the point when I figured I'm probably better off just not looking at this because I'm just gonna get slightly down about the expansion. Because I've mentioned before, like WoW is kind of an important tool for me personally, and I would like to enjoy it. So getting like irritated by decisions that are probably made for reasons that I don't understand from different parts of the community and stuff. Like if they make a change that's PvP oriented, I'm not really going to understand why, because I haven't done PvP yet. Not because I don't want to, just because the corruption system made PvP look real jank. And so I decided maybe I shouldn't mess with that yet. So, you know, they're making changes in areas of the game that I don't do or haven't experienced yet, that still affect the area I'm in. I don't know, it feels weird. Because to me, I just, like, the water changes, I don't understand how that helps or improves the game in any way. It feels like it just makes things worse.
Footfalls for many centuries.
A lot of people seem to like that change and say it was a good thing, but I don't understand how. Because I'm gonna go into this water change now. Okay, the way they changed the water thing, so it works slower to begin with and then speeds up the more you drink, right? Fair enough. That just seems like it makes doing dungeons and stuff more irritating, because you have to wait for mages and priests to restore their mana for longer, because you have to wait for them to actually start to sip their drink quicker. Which is an odd mechanic anyway. But right, you have to wait for that. That just makes things more awkward. But if that's a thing for, like, PvP specific changes, if that helps the PvP gameplay by stopping certain mage classes like, I don't know, Warlock or Priest or something, stops them from being, like, almost invincible because it gives them less mana and it means they have to take longer to regenerate their mana and stuff, and it helps balance things in PvP. Cool. But why would that change then affect every part of the game? Why would you not limit that to arenas or battlegrounds or when you have world PvP enabled? Why does that need to be enabled in every aspect of the game? But like I say, I haven't experienced every aspect of the game yet. Simply because of, like, with doing high-end raiding, my guild disappearing stopped me from doing that, even though it's something I really want to do. Mythic Dungeons, I haven't spent the time to learn what the different effects and, like, aspects and stuff are, so I didn't want to interfere with other people's dungeons without knowing those things, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, I've got to learn, but I feel like I'm holding the team back by me not knowing what they are, if that makes sense. Or not knowing how to deal with them. I'd really like to. But I feel like it's something I'm better off doing at the start of an expansion rather than the end of an expansion when everybody already knows what they are. And then I'm coming in not knowing anything. And just making things harder for everyone else. But me not having that experience makes me feel like I don't necessarily have a sort of a... what the hell was that? Celestial Gift. Oh, the comet. I was slightly worried I'd got the mount again, and I was going to be very angry, because it took me so long to get that mount the first time. Yeah, it makes me feel like maybe I don't understand why that change has happened. And seeing that and not understanding it and making it kind of feel like they're making changes to weird little things that don't really matter. When there are really big issues that need fixing. So I kind of decided to just stop paying attention to the patch notes and stuff, because I feel like I will enjoy things more if I don't pay attention to it a whole bunch. Like, there are things I'm super excited about that are the, like, big changes and stuff, like, new hunter pets, Torghast, the Scourge event itself, even though I know it's going to be total chaos, I'm super excited to experience it, because I never got to experience the originals. So I really want to make the most of the one I do get to play in, right? It was like I made the effort to stay up to experience the classic launch and stuff, even though it launched at like midnight or 1 in the morning or whatever. I still stayed up to like experience it and be a part of that, and it was really cool. So I'd really like to do that for Shadowlands and pre-patch and stuff. But I think I'm just going to kind of avoid most of the news and changes now, for the most part, unless it's like a big major thing. I'm more than likely still going to see them to some degree, because, you know, I follow up a whole bunch of WoW YouTubers and content creators and stuff, like Bellier and Preach and Asman and everyone else. so I'm always going to see the changes to some degree, but I'm just not going to look into them as much until we get there now, because I don't think there's much point. Like, everything's changing all the time with the game right now. And I think Blizzard are just trying to get something. Oh wow, I never looked up before and saw the, like, just wall of guys above. That's really cool. Damn. That is really cool. Don't know why I never looked up in here before. A really cool environment. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to try and just go in a bit more blind to things. In fact, we're going to go hop over to Argus, see what we can find, and then we'll head back over and wrap things up over in Pandaria. I think, so I can give my my throat a break and hopefully myself, and I'll feel better for tomorrow, hopefully. Might even do a modded playthrough of Divinity on stream tomorrow. Well, start one. Jesus. I just dropped my fucking blue light glasses into my paint holder thing. That was bad. It's fine, there's no paint on them. Well, the paint's sealed, but still. It's not good. Yeah, might do that on stream tomorrow, just something different, because we get one extra day of BFA over here in EU, and there's not a whole lot left to do. Yeah, thought it might be fun to share a little bit of that Divinity stuff that I've been messing around with and all the mods and stuff. I have actually put together a collection on Steam of all the mods I'm using with links to the other like third-party stuff as well. If anybody's interested in that pack, I can put a link to that, I guess? Because I don't think collections are private. Which is a shame, because otherwise I would just have, like, private or unlisted collections of all the mod packs and stuff of games I play. Because a lot of the time, I like to play games in co-op and stuff, and it can be kind of awkward to get people to go through, like, 50 pages of mods to find all the stuff that you're using so that you can actually play together.
How fortunate.
I remember years ago when I was trying to do that with Skyrim multiplayer, and I put together like a full Google document of all the links to everything, and even that was kind of a pain in the ass, because it was all on the Nexus thing, so you had to go and individually download every single mod. Which was real bad. Obviously we're doing like Divinity through Steam Workshop, because I think pretty much all the mods are on there, apart from like the odd one. Makes it a lot easier because you can just put together a collection, they press one button, it installs all the mods for them. They don't have to like sift through all the crap on the Nexus to find the good mods. Just makes it far easier to do co-op and multiplayer stuff. I was also thinking about doing co-op through like remote play with mods and just like controlling 2 characters each. Because if you do remote play with Divinity, unless you plug in 2 controllers and then both play with the controllers at either end, you can't actually play split screen co-op with remote play. So either both of you have to buy the game, or you like kind of just split the characters and share it out. And since I've literally finished a full playthrough by myself and stuff, it doesn't really bother me to kind of just be the side characters and let them kind of take the reins of stuff.
How fortunate.
Oh wow. A bunch of the guys wrote.
How fortunate.
I mean, it would be nice to, like, have your own character and have different decisions in the dialogue and stuff, but it's not really that bad, just, like, kind of coasting along. Because I really enjoy the combat in Divinity, so I don't really mind just being there for that part, and kind of just, not having to worry about the dialogue and convincing people to do stuff.
Find our soldiers before it's too late.
Also, one of the, like, major issues I had with my main playthrough of Divinity, like, one of the things that irritated me the whole way through was how sometimes when characters would, like, talk to you to give you rewards and stuff, it would randomly select different members of my party. So I'd do a bunch of stuff to, like, get a reward for my leader, and then they'd talk to the dwarf rather than my leader of the party. It was so irritating. But luckily, there's a mod that fixes that and redirects all dialogue options to either your leader, or you can set it if you, like, need persuasion or whatever. It will automatically redirect the dialogue to your person with the most persuasion. So that way you can always talk your way out of situations if you need to. You can, like, always have the rewards go to your leader rather than be randomly split to different members of your party and stuff. Like, there's, I think if you save the Black Cat from the start of Fort Joy, that gives you a special ability, but it will go to, like, a random member that's just closest. Whereas if you have that mod on, it will redirect to your leader. So your main character will get the rewards and the benefits and stuff. Which is way better. Oh, we got nothing. Hey, you traitor. Can't wait to kill you in, like, an expansion's time. Since we already know you're a bad guy. Where's the portal out of here? I'm sure there is one. Ah, here it is, like, all the way around here. I thought it was, like, next to the vendors or whatever, but nope. Right at the back of the ship, I guess. I guess technically it's the front, but, like, really awkward place. You know what, we may as well. We'll just go run Zul'Gurub as well. We have to go back to Stormwind, so why not? Also, I need to, A, sell all the stuff in my inventory, and then B, also, actually sort out my inventory ready for pre-patch. So I've got free space as much as possible. Because with the nerfs, I'm no longer going to need my garrison Hearthstone on me, considering all the money from there is worthless. I'll keep the Dalaran one, because it's useful. I've got all my Stormwind teleport capes. It might also be worth setting my Hearthstone to somewhere in Icecrown. Thinking about it, considering most of the pre-patch event stuff takes place there. And it will mean I can avoid going through the Stormwind portal room and all the rest of the stuff here. So if you want some pre-patch advice, go set your Hearthstone into somewhere in Wrath. Maybe somewhere out of the way in Wrath as well. That might be a really good idea. Give me waypoint arrow, please. Thank you. If you set it somewhere out of the way in Wrath, you're going to avoid anybody, like, coming through with the ghoul thing. Because people did get through the teleport room in Stormwind with the ghouls, because you can kill the guards and stuff. So it means nowhere's going to be safe from the ghouls when the pre-patch event hits. Like, they're going to be everywhere. But you can mitigate that somewhat to staying out the way. Yeah, I think my plan will be to set my Hearthstone to somewhere in Icecrown. I'm not going to do it on stream. Not that anybody really watches these streams to, like, come after me or whatever, but I do intend to put it out of the way so that I can just teleport to Wrath and fly to where I need to be without worry of being mobbed by ghouls as soon as I walk through a portal. I do want to join in with that chaos and just mess around and stuff. Like, seems like that's kind of the whole point of the pre-patch event. But I do want to try and get the storyline finished before anything else, if that makes sense. I mean, the storyline is only like an hour long. It's not super big. It's about the equivalent length of Halo 3 ODST. Funnily enough. Considering that game's, what, an hour and a half on Legendary? So, what, an hour on Heroic, maybe? That's something I've been thinking about lately, as well. It's just, like, the length of video games. Like, how weird and, like, all over the place they are. Like, for a while, there was that standard of, like, video games need to be, like, 8 to 10 hours long or whatever, right? Like, needs to be a good length. But then when you look back at games like Halo 3 and ODST, which I remember, like, super fondly, and I still love those games. But then you come back later and play them again, and you realise just how short they are. Like, Halo 3 is literally 3 hours long. Like, 3 hours on Legendary. Which is insane. And then you've got ODST that's half the length of that on the same difficulty as well. And I still think ODST is one of the best Halo games. But it's half the length of 3? I'm pretty sure Reach, on average, is longer. Like, that's 4 hours-ish? 4.5? Like, without speedrunning it, like, literally just playing through the game. On Legendary, like, 4 hours, 4.5. Halo 3, 3 hours. ODST, an hour and a half. Like, I think the only difference with ODST, like, when I played it when I was younger, is the city sections, like going through Mombasa streets. That's the bit that takes up the time, when you're, like, exploring and trying to sneak around and get past people and stuff. That's the bit that kind of, like, bloats the playtime. And when you play it on the Master Chief Collection, none of that counts towards your completion time. Only the missions do. And the missions are all super short. Apart from, like, the last 2, I think, are the long ones. The last 2 are, like, the same length as a regular, like, Halo 3 level. Where you have to, like, get down the highway and escort the engineer and all the rest of it. Those are the long ones. But then you've got a game like Divinity 2, well, Divinity Original Sin 2, rather, which is 60 hours long on what is essentially kind of easy to normal. The Divinity difficulty is weird, because you've got, like, I don't think story mode was in Classic. I don't remember it being in Classic. It is in Definitive Edition. That's, like, your super easy mode. You don't get an achievement for finishing it. Like, you really just want to get through the story or whatever difficulty, right? And then you've got Explorer, which is what I played on, which is kind of easy mode, but it's kind of like that's also normal. Like the way it describes the difficulties to you. Explorer is like basic mode, and then you've got Tactician, which is slightly more difficult, and then you've got the one after that, which I don't remember the name of,
Congratulations.
which is like hardcore mode or whatever, and I don't think you can save in hardcore or whatever either. It's like Iron Man. So if you mess something up, you messed it up, and that's it. But just on like Explorer, it's 60 hours long, which is an insane length for a game. I love the fact that it's that long. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it is real long when you compare it to like other games that are like 3 hours. Like, it's insane. Just how much games vary in length. Oh, I'll pick up the thing while I'm here. Can I see my rewards, please? Thank you. Love being in Borealis and not being able to fucking do anything. To be fair, this is gonna be what what Iceground and everywhere else is gonna be like on pre-patch drops, isn't it? Stormwind especially. The deserted capital of the Alliance, suddenly alive again. Well, thinking about it, I guess games have all these different lengths and variation in them because they appeal to different audiences, right? Like a first-person shooter having kind of a short playtime kind of makes sense because they're super fast-paced most of the time. Unless they're like a tactical shooter or whatever, right? Actually don't remember where these guys are stationed. Is it that? Sure, I'm pretty sure there's a fly path down here, so let's just grab one of those and I can talk about stuff rather than having a fly somewhere. Sure. But yeah, like first-person shooters are more fast-paced and centered around you kind of just running and gunning unless it's a tactical shooter. So I guess it makes sense for those to be short, because if they were longer it would kind of drag and be very repetitive in that sense. Eventually you'd get bored of fighting exactly the same enemy types and just doing exactly the same thing over and over again. Whereas something that's more story focused and is, I guess like Divinity, more like a classic RPG and stuff, there's a lot more length to that because there's all the story has to be given to you, you have to learn things, you have to figure things out as you go, you have to solve the like puzzles that are within the game and also within combat situations as well. Like, there's a lot of puzzles in like the dungeon sections of Divinity, like solving how to open a door or get access to a specific plinth or vault or whatever, right, that you need. They take time, like figuring out the puzzle, working things out. Something I really enjoy, personally, but they do take time. And then also Divinity has the like solving the puzzle of combat, kind of like a Dark Souls game. Where you have to learn your enemies and how they react and what movesets they have and like your positioning and things like that. So I guess it really depends on just the gameplay style affects the length and the target audience. I suppose if you did like a tactical first-person shooter, you could kind of achieve the same... I just realised the way I said shooter there was really strange. Yeah, but if you did the same... Oh, okay, cool. I'm just reading all these things now. Pretty sure I have all of these, don't I? Yeah. If you did a tactical shooter, you could probably hit the same amount of length in like gameplay and stuff. Like I have, I think over 100 hours in every Souls game. Several characters, but still, you gotta spend time to like learn things, so the games are generally longer, as opposed to like a shooter being a lot more fast-paced. I imagine that will probably be the same for a lot of games. Just varying length based on the audience and things. But anyway, that was a weird rant that didn't really have a resolution. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. The last little run of BFA, and then we have to figure out a whole new gold route for Shadowlands. I guess we'll try out the Legion route that I also have noted down somewhere. It's kind of the same thing, but the Legion dungeons might be easier. I'm not sure if they're getting gold squished as well, is the thing. Because if they are, then they might be less effective too. We will see, I guess. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. We should be back again tomorrow, hopefully with a little bit of Divinity, actually. And then I don't know if I'll be able to stream on Wednesday. I don't know what's happening, because there's a whole bunch of like law changes in the UK with the whole like coronavirus thing. So not sure what's happening with those. I might end up having to help look after my nephew. I might not, because he might not even be able to come over. So who knows? But I'll see you guys again tomorrow, and then hopefully there's some pre-patch stuff as soon as that happens, and we will hopefully keep everybody up to date as much as possible, and Fat Boy's down there. Cool. See you guys next time.